Family secrets. The chickens have come home to roost. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I apologize for not being able to show my face, but as soon as I've recovered from the cold, you will see my face. I have been hesitant on sharing this word. Whenever I hesitate, the Lord is always kind to give an encouraging word. And I kept on hearing online, suffer not a witch to live, suffer not a witch to live. I think I heard this from 3 different videos, and I felt the Lord was like, go ahead and release the word, go ahead and release it. So, this is the dream. I had a strange dream. In this dream, I was an onlooker. The dream starts with me standing outside the community hall with some members of the community. A serious and urgent meeting had been called. The hall was filled to capacity. We didn't even know why the meeting was called. But obviously the people concerned and their families were in the hall, okay, so that they can be able to speak for themselves. But the hall was so full, a lot of us just were chilling outside, some in the shades, some in their cars. And most people were just chatting, we're just waiting for the people to come out and update us. So the meeting finally ended. We knew it by the mob justice songs that were sung. Our faces were now focused on the entrance of the community hall with just with concern. That was not a good sign. Those who were seated under the trees got up on their feet. We slowly made our way to the entrance of the gate. We stood outside the gate preparing for the worst as we heard the mob songs being sung. A family came out first. They stood facing us. They were handcuffed. Now, these individuals were grown adults, but they were from the same family. So, meaning they were siblings, but now they had grown. They had their own families. But these people were from the same household, same parents. Okay, they were all from one family. Yet they had their own families. But different personalities stood in front of us. The only common thing was that they were siblings and they stood there handcuffed. It was weird because there were no police there, but they were handcuffed. So these siblings stood as they faced us. So they came out first and they were facing the community. And as other people came out, they stood behind them. Someone started to address the crowd which couldn't fit inside the hall. It was said that these people had been guilty of witchcraft, that they were guilty of many evil things in the community. I was waiting for an example of what they did. The man did not rehash all that which was spoken inside the hall. I didn't understand how they could find proof of their witchcraft. Like, where was the evidence? The man spoke with authority as if he was a policeman, although he was not. He said that the red tapes were already put on the accused homes, that their doors and gates were sealed, that people were forbidden to enter that property. I'm not sure if it was their childhood home that was red taped or if their own homes were also red taped. But I remember it being said that people were not allowed to enter the property, not to enter the property, for the gate itself was red taped, even the door. In anger, people started to sing songs of violence and justice. We were all shook by this. We knew these people. I mean, these were people from our community. Like for me, I would have suspected just one among the siblings because of this person's shady character, and this person's character was questionable. I was just shocked that the other decent ones were also involved in the dark things. Now, the families of these people were now being harassed, even their children, so they quickly fled the scene. These families were taken away. Now, this occurrence shook the whole neighborhood. Most people did not go home after the meeting. And at some point, one of the wives of the men One wife of the man, she was about to enter the car as they were fleeing. When they started to harass the families, there was someone who was carrying a weapon, trying to harm the woman, trying to stab the woman. Although the woman was not called, nor was she part of the cult, but because of her association with her husband, that almost put her life in jeopardy. The next scene, it was in the evening. The meeting took place in the morning, and yet most of us didn't go home. We all remained there. Don't forget, they took these people away, so we just waited to see what will happen. So we saw a car pull up by the gate of the community hall. So as the car pulled up, one man came out of the car and he began to walk. I think he was there to go and lock up the hall. And then one man had the guts to ask what had happened to the accused. Immediately, he asked this question. In my heart, I knew that there were no more. My heart broke for their family members. This was a lifetime trauma. The man, who was also a leader in the community, he lied through his teeth. He said that they were being detained somewhere. He said that they had to answer some questions before they were released. We all kept silent, still recovering from the shock. So I thought that was a very weird dream. So there are things that people have been doing, and this here the Lord is trying to say that in the exposure that is happening, the Lord is about to reveal family secrets, and unfortunately they're going to be known even by communities, because this was something that was in the community. So there are things that people have wondered about, like their questions were going to be answered, and they were going to know exactly who the source of the problem was. Because I thought it was weird that they would be able to find out who's doing witchcraft on them. Like, how do you prove that someone's been doing witchcraft on you? Like, that's just almost impossible. But this man, he spoke with so much authority and he was so sure. So things are going to play out in such a way that everybody will be convinced. And I feel that although I was not inside the hall, I feel that there are some things that they could have admitted, perhaps to try and lessen the punishment, or perhaps they found things in their home that showed that they were involved in this thing. I do not know, but whatever they had was concrete evidence, whether it was surveillance camera or whatever, because I didn't see any of that. I was not inside the community hall. So the Lord is saying what has long been hidden is about to be revealed. There are families which pride themselves as being powerful cults. Everything has an end. The cult is coming to an end. And what is weird was that I saw people I never would have thought were involved in these things. They were just arrested. Like the Spirit of the Lord is arresting and is exposing. And the Lord is allowing the worst to come upon them. Because the people were angry and they were basically released to be dealt with by the community and not by law. It reminds me of the history that we have. I believe is in most countries, I stand corrected, that in the past, when they found out that people or a person was involved in witchcraft, they would burn them, they would unalive them. So in this dream, these people were exposed and they were dealing with them. And it was scary. It was shocking. Like, it was shocking. I even feared for their families. Like, some people are unreasonable. They even wanted to harm their families. Okay. And I can understand that, excuse me, sometimes when a person is involved in the occult, it can be assumed that everybody in that home is involved, but that's not always the case. That's not always the case. So I just felt like, oh wow. So those things that we thought could be buried forever, like those skeletons are coming out, and dirty laundry is about to be hung for the world to see. There's a great shame that's about to fall on these occultic homes. Now, this is an occultic home. You have to understand how powerful this must be, because not a matter of one person or two people. It's like a heritage passed in from one generation to the next. So the Lord is about to expose them. Like, even I just wondered, like, I wonder how did they find the evidence? It just didn't make sense to me. Like, how on earth were they able to come across such information, like the proof and stuff? So the Lord is saying what's long been hidden is about to be exposed. And there are some questions, long-standing questions, which are about to be answered. And people's jaws are about to drop. And the Lord's judgment is about to fall upon the house of the wicked. You know, indeed, like the Lord is exposing, like the Lord is exposing, and nothing is gonna cover or protect them. So I just felt like, oh wow, like with the exposure that the Lord has been doing and will continue to do, I never thought like it would actually play out like that for the witches. I honestly thought that it was just going to be judgment, and no, the laundry is going to be hung out for people to see, and it's not going to be pretty. And the problem is that it's not just shame upon them, but it's also going to be shame upon their families, and even those who are not involved in the occult. But then again, God just reveals things. God has to reveal to redeem. So they need to know what their family members are up to. They need to know what their family members are into. So yeah, things are about to be exposed, and these are just mainly the cults. There are cults in homes, there are cults in families, there are cults in homes, there are cults in families, whereby it can happen that there be some members of the family that are into a cult, and then there's a few that are not a part of it, probably because for whatever reason the initiation process was never successful. For whatever reason, some people are just earmarked for God, that it doesn't matter what they would do, they'll do the whole process, and yet the person will still come out of it, whether they'll be vomiting the stuff out or dream themselves going through all of that, and still God making a way for them of escape. Whatever that God chooses to do, like God always protects those whom He has covered, always protects those whom He's called. But then again, like even now, I'm still shocked, like to think that such people can actually be exposed like that. So God is saying, yeah, they're going to be exposed like that. The dirty laundry is going to be hung out for the world to see, and we're going to be shocked, because even the people we deemed as gentlemen, that we deemed as ladies, like we're about to be shocked, and it's just going to be painful. It's just going to be a quick and easy thing out of the way, just like that. Yeah, so that's the dream that I had. Thank you guys. God bless.